Hello, high school hockey fans. We're back. We've got another edition of This Week in Wisconsin Prep Hockey. I'm Mike Hammett, your host. Got along tonight both Bill Berg Sr., Bill Berg Jr., and Trasher is along, and Del Scanlon, a little bit under the weather, and he'll be back next week, I'm sure. We got plenty of things to talk about. We'll talk about the top 10, also our players of the week. Right now, let's start out with our games of the week. The girls and boys games of the week. And Burglar, you got the chance to check out the girls game of the week, and what did you see?
I saw a very cold rink in Marshfield. I mean, it really hasn't been that cold here the last, couple of weeks, not like we normally get in January, but inside that rink in Marshfield, it was cold. Maybe I'm just getting old. But anyway, I did see it started out as a good game. The St. Croix Valley Fusion made the drive over to Marshfield, down and across to Marshfield, to take on the Wisconsin Valley Union. And Wisconsin Valley Union kept it close for the first period. That was mainly Pistol Cowden. She did a real nice job of stopping shots. She did a real good job of controlling rebounds. Pretty much sending every shot ended up in one or the other corners or in her glove. She did not give up rebounds, but they got the Fusion outshot Wisconsin Valley 15-4 in that first period, and did get one past Cowden. And then after that, they just really took control. The Fusion, they were faster, they were stronger on the sticks. They won the vast majority of the one-on-one battles along the boards. They came away with the puck, and they controlled things pretty much and really broke it open with 3 goals in the second period, and then just kind of cruised on to a 6-1 win, outshooting the Union almost 2-1 on the game. As I said, Cowden kept it close for the first period, and the Union did a nice job, moving the puck. They make nice passes. They advance the puck. They get it out of their zone. But like I said, St. Croix Valley Fusion was just too fast and too strong and overpowered them in the end for a 6-1 win.
Okay, Bill, thanks a lot for that report on the girls game of the week, Wisconsin Valley Union coming up short against St. Croix Valley Fusion. Trasher, you had the chance to check out a Wisconsin Valley Conference boys matchup, which is usually a real barn burner. Got to check out Wausau West taking on Spash in the Stick It to Cancer game.
Hey, thanks, MJ. Yes, I did. KB Willett Arena on Tuesday night was the site of the 5th annual Spash Stick It to Cancer game, and it was well worth the price of admission. The Wausau West Warriors came out with a 2-1 victory over the Spash Panthers. Cade Lemmer actually scored a goal in the first period to give West a 1-0 lead. The second period was scoreless. Mark Sipple scored just 17 seconds into the third period to give the Warriors a 2-0 lead, and Barrett Brooks scored about 6 minutes, 6:24 into the period to cut the lead to 2-1, but West was able to hold on for the 2-1 victory. Shots were 24-22 in favor of West. Pretty even game, pretty close game. But I think, to me, the most awesome thing about that game was after the game, where they had a little ceremony for one of the girls, a sister actually of Spash player Gunners Droik, who had been diagnosed with cancer, and she had gone through chemo and all the treatments and all the therapy. And on December 31st, what a great day for her, as she was found to be cancer-free and in remission. So Montana Zadroik was there, and both teams were out on the ice after the game and gave her a lot of great applause. The sticks were slapping on the ice pretty hard. It was pretty cool scene after the game. I think it was a great game, but the part after the game was even better. So I was honored to be there. I felt it was, I'm at a loss for words. To have somebody have cancer and then find out that they're in remission and have a good chance at life, that's a pretty awesome thing. So the game was secondary to that, but the West Warriors won the Good Valley Conference matchup 2-1 over the Spash Panthers, guys. Really good game, really good feeling after the game. So awesome to be there.
Sounds like a very successful Stick It to Cancer game, Michael. Talk about the win for Wausau West, but it may have been a game won on the ice, but off the ice, it sounds like it was everybody won in that one. So good report there on the boys' game of the week. Wausau West squeaking by Spash to top 10 teams. Let's move on to our players of the week. Burglar, you want to tell everybody who our players of the week are? Because I know there's plenty of people wanting to know.
I'd be happy to do that, MJ. On the girls' side, our player of the week comes from the Eau Claire area Stars, where she spends most of her time standing in front of the net. She is Naomi Stowe, the goaltender for the Eau Claire area Stars. She had 2 shutouts on the week, stopped all 23 shots in a 3-0 win over the Western Wisconsin Stars, and stopped all 20 shots in a 2-0 win over the St. Croix Valley Fusion. So for stopping everything thrown at her, Naomi Stowe is our girls' player of the week. Our boys' player of the week didn't stop a whole lot of shots. He spent more time putting the puck in the net or dishing it out for somebody else to put in the net. That would be Boone Matheson from Toma Sparta, the Toma Sparta co-op. He had 4 goals and an assist in a 7-2 win over the Avalanche, 2 goals and an assist in a 5-3 win over West Salem, and an assist in a 4-3 win over the Northwest Icemen. So Boone Matheson from Toma Sparta is our boys' player of the week, and Naomi Stowe of Eau Claire area, our girls' player of the week.
Boone Matheson, they weren't booing him. They were saying Boone.
Yeah, that's what he keeps telling himself.
Well, that depends. Were they home games? Because they could have been booing him.
This is true.
And one further note of interest, and I think this is right, I don't have it 100% sure, but I think Boone Matheson is the brother to Black River Falls goalie Josie Matheson, who earlier in the year won a Player of the Year or Player of the Week award, and she goes to Toma High School. So they're related, I believe, brother and sister, maybe. Was trying to get confirmation on that, didn't. But if they are blood relatives, that's pretty cool for a bro and a sis to get Player of the Week awards in the same season. I think we maybe had that happen before with the Malcolmsons, perhaps, if I remember right. But still, pretty cool deal, guys.
Well, you got Naomi Stowe for the girls this week, and you know Abigail had to have won it somewhere along the way in her high school career. So not the same season, but still another part of the family.
Hey, as the years go by, the Stowe show keeps on keeping on.
And I guess, as you would say about the Malcolmsons, if it didn't happen that way, we know that's the same situation too, because Ian winning it and Hadley also. I know Hadley won it, so yeah, families, sure. All right, let's move on to our top 10. Bill Jr., you have tabulated the votes. And as I said on the weakest link, it's votes that count. How did these shake down this week?
All right. As a reminder, we are officially changing our name to USM Prep Hockey. They are number 1 in the boys poll this week, followed by Wausau West at second and Verona at third. Sun Prairie moves up to 4th, while Superior drops down to 5th. Northland Pines holds steady at 6th. Onalaska and Spash switch places to 7th and 8th. They were 8th and 7th last week. Nina Hortonville Menasha is 9th, and Hudson moves up to 10th from Honorable Mention. Honorable Mention for the boys are Chippewa Falls, Eau Claire North, Madison Edgewood, Notre Dame Academy, and Waukesha. For the girls, Fox City Stars are still number 1. The Eau Claire area Stars move up to number 2. Central Wisconsin Storm drops down to 3rd. The Warburg Beaver Dam Co-op moves up to 4th. Western Wisconsin Stars drop down to 5th. Hudson moves up to 6th. St. Croix Valley Fusion drops down to 7th. The USM holds steady at 8th. Rock County moves up to 9th. And the Hayward Co-op moves up to 10th. Honorable mention for the girls is Bay Area. So those 2 shutouts for Naomi Stowe were against what are now the number 5 and number 7 teams in the state. Last week they were number 4 and number 6. So she almost single-handedly knocked them each down a spot in the top 10.
And Naomi maybe just sitting there kind of like that little snicker.
Well,
No, I'm sure she's not that kind of person.
Goalies typically aren't evil. They are a little weird, though.
They're not evil, or they're just weird?
They're just weird. They're not evil.
Okay. Well, how do you explain your brother Bob then?
He's the exception that proves the rule.
Yeah. He did say typically. Nothing
Okay.
typical about his brother.
Okay. Looking at the top 10 in the boys, I mean, there was, a spot here and there that were moved, but the girls were just jumping around all over the place.
Yeah, it was a big week for the girls. Central Wisconsin took an uncharacteristic loss to Bay Area. A game where they vastly outshot the Ice Bears, but they let in 5 goals and against just 1 scored. That was uncharacteristic. That'll knock them down a slot. So, Fox City's ECA and the Storm have been fighting over that 1 slot pretty much all season, but the Storm, unless they go back and beat one of those 2 teams, may have played themselves out of the top slot, or the possibility of getting back into the top slot with that loss, because 5-1 against an honorable mention on the girls' side does not usually reflect well with the voters.
Thought it was interesting as I'm looking here at the boys. Verona last week, they squeaked by Janesville 6-5 on Tuesday night. Friday night they play Wausau West. They lose, I believe, 5-1, and they come back on Saturday night and beat Sun Prairie 5-1. So, pretty interesting week for Verona, and they didn't. The 1 loss didn't hurt them at all. They stayed right at number 3.
Well, losing to a team ranked ahead of you usually doesn't get you dropped down that much. I mean,
right, and
you can.
You lose. Yeah, you lose to the team right ahead of you and beat the team right behind you. That's a pretty strong case for staying right where you are.
Sun Prairie won on Friday night, and then they lost on Saturday night to Verona, but yet they still move up 1 place. It's been a goofy year this year in the Big 8, guys. There's so many things you just can't explain. I mean, why games are games that should be, one-sided and teams should win. It's the underdog that's come out a few times, or the underdog that's made it close a few times. So it's just been that kind of season, I know, down here in the Big 8 where, anybody's capable on any night. Madison Memorial, for example, Thursday night when they played Janesville, was 2-2 after one period, but Madison Memorial dominated the second and third period and won that game 6-2. Now, Janesville beats Middleton earlier in the season. So you see kind of where I'm saying here, well, maybe Janesville's that much better. Well, Middleton comes back on Saturday and beats Madison Memorial 2-1. I mean, you just don't know what to expect. But I guess with it being high school players, I mean,
that's why they play the games.
That's why they play the games.
That's right.
Talking about maybe some weird goings on the girls' side, the Western Wisconsin Stars on the WIPA coaches poll rank 5th, but in the My Hockey standings and the USHSHO.com standings rankings, they are number 1 on both of them. So you try to figure it out. I certainly can't.
Do Western Wisconsin and Fox Cities play this year? Or has Western Wisconsin played any of those top teams there? Did they play ECA? Didn't they play them?
They played ECA twice.
That was one of the shutouts that we just mentioned.
Yeah, I think they lost.
Okay.
I think they lost both games, but the Western Wisconsin Stars beat the Fusion. I believe they beat Hudson. I think they are. I did a little article about that particular sectional, and I think the Stars were 3-2, I believe, against the top-ranked teams in that sectional. The Hudson, ECA, and the Fusion, I believe they were 3-2. So, I mean, they have played some top-ranked teams, and they've done fairly well. But I guess something in the statistics or the goals and the strength of schedule or whatever show them as being on the top. So, when it comes down to like the seeding meetings, how much of each one of these polls is going to be given preference, or
Well, they lost to ECA twice now, and they don't play them a third time, so it'll be hard.
Yeah.
It'll be hard pressed for them to get seeded higher.
Yeah, but I think they could probably be the number 2 seed in that sectional. That's gonna suck in that sectional because you got ECA Stars, Western Wisconsin Stars, St. Croix Valley Fusion, and Hudson, and I think Hayward's in that too. So you got 5 teams that, any other year in any other sectional could go to state, but they all happen to be in the same sectional, and kind of tough shit for the 4 other teams, and one gets to go on to Madison.
You can't say that on the radio.
We're not on the radio.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sorry, man. I take
We're
that
on the
back.
internet.
Say tough caca.
Next week's games of the week, Michael. What do we got?
All right. Well, we got some volunteers to make some trips. For the girls' side, it'll be the Fox City Stars at Onalaska at the Onalaska Omni Center on Saturday at 4 p.m. Del Scanlon will be there to provide game scoring, summary, pictures, coverage, all that good stuff. On the boys' side, it's going to be a Great Northern Conference matchup of 2 pretty good teams this year. The Wapaka Comets will take on the Northland Pines Eagles up at the Dome on Friday at 7 p.m. And Burglar is going to make the trip up from Weston to check that one out. So
Actually, both of us are going up there.
Burglar and Webb Jr.?
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Going to be a road trip to remember.
We already lined up the babysitter. I'm going to pack the kids' bag. They're going to stay with Grandma for the night. I'll pick them up sometime on Sunday. It'll be great.
Oh,
Sunday.
Sounds like boys' weekend.
Sunday? What happened to Saturday?
I don't know if they're already there. I mean, I don't want to disrupt them.
Nothing wrong with that. That's what grandmas are for.
Okay, I'll be staying in your guest room on Saturday, I guess.
All right, Burglar. Well, just make sure that the guy with the camera at the Dome is standing up on the top row, and he can get some pretty good pictures from up there.
I always stand there, and I always forget. I had to remind myself to push the button down on the camera.
Got
Well,
some final.
Yeah,
What's
there
that?
you go. I said, there you go. You got two guys. One guy can write, one guy can shoot. So you should have it covered. All right, MJ, go for it.
Okay, you got some final things we need to get off our chest. Well, mainly Trasher does. Michael, you want to talk about the Hobie Baker Award and other awards? Go ahead.
Yeah, if this has gotten mononymous, I'm sorry, but the Hobie Baker Character Award is, as you all probably know, it's the best kid award on a team. It's for a senior player. They are looking to have a player from each boys and girls team, which I believe is a total of around 112 or something like that. Historically, the percentage of participation has been anywhere between 60 and 70%. Like to see more than that. It's a great award for a kid. Looks good on their college resume. The kids feel good about it. It's a big deal. So coaches, make sure that you nominate a kid on your team for this award. Parents, players, get that coach motivated a little bit. We need to have 100% this year. That's my goal. February 4th, I believe, is the deadline. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was the Player of the Year award. That voting and not the voting. The nominations are actually going on right now, and that's for, on the boys' side, anyways, the top senior players. So coaches, make sure you get your nominations in. This is a big deal too. It's we don't want to call it Mr. Hockey, but it's Mr. Hockey for Wisconsin. The Player of the Year award, the Wisconsin High School Coaches Association puts us on, and definitely a big deal. So make sure you get your nominations in. We want to see a lot of kids nominated, so we can get 20 or 30 that the coaches can vote for to get to the final eight. It's a lot of fun at the banquet down at the state tournament in Madison. The kids all get dressed up. They trash talk each other, but it's a pretty big honor. So coaches, make sure you get this all taken care of. And if they need a little motivation, parents and players and fans, give them a little jab. Definitely a big deal. We want to see our best players get nominated and give them a good shot to win this award, guys. So that's all I got for my final thoughts, boys.
Okay, there you have it. Good stuff, Michael. A Hobie Baker Character Award really sounds good, and the Player of the Year Award, it's not that far away. So please make sure people get their nominations in. Coaches, get your nominations in, and can count it up and award a pretty nice award at the end of the season. So anything else, Bird boys?
No, I got nothing.
Got nothing? Junior, you got nothing either?
No, I'm just going to yell at Trasher when we're offline for using 2 forbidden words.
Oh, let me guess what they are. Anyways, hey, hope you enjoyed the show. We'll try to do better next week. For the Berg family, Trasher, under the weather, Del Scanlon. We'll see you next week on This Week in Wisconsin Prep Hockey.